Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is right here, everyone, with the incorrect view selected. Ron is here. Thanks for joining me, everyone. We have some crazy stuff to talk about this evening on SPTV. What I am going to share with you guys this evening is, to me, one of the most disgusting Scientology documents I have ever seen, detailing one of the most disgusting plans I have ever seen to frame and destroy a former Sea Org member, former Scientology executive, former staff member from the international base. This program, there are things that I've seen that are probably as bad as this. For example, what Scientology did to Paulette Cooper. It's easy to think of those things as being something that occurred in the distant past. But the program that I'm going to show you this evening, we're going to go through it, was written in 2007. I mean, in Scientology term, that's recent memory. I mean, this is, Scientology says that all the horrible, disgusting things that they engaged in back in the 60s and 70s, that was under, the watch of the Guardian's office, and Scientology has disbanded the GO and expelled all those members, and things are different today. Now, anyone who's, been paying attention at all for the last 10 or 15 years to anything to do with Scientology knows that that's all BS. But very rarely do we see something as black and white, as crystal clear as what I'm about to share with you. It shocked the hell out of me. Now, look, this program was written on someone who is a current member of the former Scientology community. I have changed that person's name in this program because of what Scientology implies about that person. Based on the language used in this program, I am quite confident, and I will explain in detail when it comes up in the program, that Scientology is attempting to tarnish this person with things that they say, and it's not actually true. But I'm not going to subject that person to the type of exposure and ridicule that is in this program. Therefore, I have changed the name of the individual to a different name. And I picked the name of my arch nemesis, former Sea Org member, Ben Monaghan, who I have said, Ben Monaghan is one of the most mean, nasty, disgusting, evil people I ever encountered in the Sea Org. And if I ever run into him, no matter where, no matter when, it's on. So I have changed the name of this program to the Ben Monaghan Program. But I cannot stress highly enough, this program has nothing to do with Ben Monaghan. It is purely for my pleasure that it says that. Okay. So keep that in mind, because the allegations in this program are pretty disgusting. And I'd rather say Ben Monaghan's name out loud than the name of the person that was actually in this program. So let's get to it, guys. If you're watching now, please stick with me through this. For you guys on the replay crew, I'm going to create chapter breaks, so this is a little easier to navigate if anyone gets a little bored and they want to skip to the next section. But this program, I'm going to switch back to normal view for a second. This program and what Scientology in this program demonstrates that they are willing and capable of doing to former members. The person they're talking about in this program, not even a high-profile person. And I say that because just imagine what they're trying to do to people right now. Okay, let's go through this thing. Highly confidential. Ben Monaghan Program. Information. Ben Monaghan was 27 years in the Sea Org, the last 8 of which were spent on the RPF. Guys, the RPF is Scientology's labor and reconditioning camp for Sea Org members. Okay, Monaghan is fixated on the 2D and is a pervert. If you're saying, what does 2D mean? In Scientology, in this context, in this sentence, 2D just means sexual relations. Okay. Monaghan is fixated on the 2D and is a pervert. During his Sea Org career, Monaghan was removed from every post he held by committing continuous crimes on those posts. Well, you have to wonder why they kept him then. Monaghan is continually promoting for ex-Sea Org members to come out and to spread their black propaganda, and will connect some of them to reporters, but will not himself openly come out and appear in the media. He is selling newspaper subscriptions for the Pittsburgh Gazette. He does not make much money and does not have a big drive to make much money. Well, you have to wonder how they would know such a thing. When Monaghan was routing out, he signed non-disclosure agreements, but he decided that the church was not going to act on these, and he has since actively promoted to disaffecteds that the church won't attack you for committing further suppressive acts. Monaghan protects his status on ARS and the XSO message board. ARS stands for alt.religion.scientology, which was sort of a message board back in the day critical of Scientology. And the XSO message board. I don't know if XSO message board is one specific message board, but XSO stands for ex-Sea Org members. Okay, he really considers himself to be big, intelligent, and an expert on Scientology, which he says he is working to reform. There is a key group who post on the ex-Sea Org message board whose love-hate buttons have been isolated. Guys, love-hate button is a term I've only become familiar with in the last week or so. For you OSA experts in the chat, in the live chat, in the comments, what reference does these love-hate buttons come from? I've never seen a policy in Scientology regarding love-hate buttons. Is this an OSA thing specifically? I'd like to know more about that. Okay, there's a key group who post on the XSO message board whose love-hate buttons have been isolated. They do not want to be positioned as church attackers, bashing the church, harassing people, or considered to be hate mongers, and brought to the level of Clambake or an ARS. Guys, Clambake, Operation Clambake was an anti-Scientology website back in the day. Okay, hold on. Am I gonna what in the hell? I gotta change my thing here, guys. Okay, that's better. Okay, they do not want to be positioned. Okay, the love it. These are the love it buttons. The love it is to get together with a bunch of old friends, talk about the good old days. But as damn it. Okay, the discreditable and obsessive 2D acts his entire life have not been publicly exposed. Neither has the fact that from day one in the Sea Org, he was a loser. And in the end, he could not even make it through an RPF program. This is how they're talking about. This is how they're talking about a guy who worked for them for almost 30 years. Program purpose. Ben Monaghan dismissed and rendered powerless as an attacker. Major targets. Crimes on Monaghan found and documented. 2. Monaghan dismissed as an attacker or totally restrained and muzzled. Primary targets. Take responsibility for the execution of this program and get it done. Read and word clear this program. These are standard targets that exist on any Scientology program. Yeah. Anyway, these are nothing special. Study the following references. Policy letter, 27 March 1972, counterattack tactics. And also policy letter, intelligence principles. And also the Office of Special Affairs Network Order 64, how intelligence is run. Arrange a meeting with the Pittsburgh private investigator and get briefed thoroughly briefed up. Okay, it must be a typo. On the actions that he will do with regard to Monaghan. Individually brief any other resources on what their role is going to be in the handling of Monaghan. Falcon to be assigned this project and accepting the job. Falcon is David LeBeau. Dave LeBeau is a Scientology private investigator that they've been using for a long time. I don't think they use him anymore, but at the time that this was written, Falcon was Dave LeBeau's PI company, PI agency. Falcon to be grooved in as case officer and to locate and operate other professionals as needed to get the product. Read and understand this program. Vital targets. All actions need to be cleared by an attorney and nothing is to be done until legal approval is gotten. That's sort of there because it has to be. They don't necessarily follow that. 2, maintain security at all times and only use resources or professionals who have been fully cleared and approved. Debug any bug target on this program so it actually gets done. As Monaghan is one of the key instigators that is causing trouble externally, ensure that no cross orders are issued to cut across this handling. 5, continue to get data from the established line. By the way, that means the person that they have embedded into this person's life who is spying on this person and reporting to Scientology. Continue to get data from the established line and report this up each time new data comes in. Get in a line so that any new messages or postings are being monitored daily and that any key traffic is being distributed to those with targets on this program. Operating targets. Okay. Use the love-hate buttons. This is the easy stuff, guys. The really terrible stuff is coming later on. I'm sorry to bury the lead here, but I want you to see all the steps of the program. Use the love-hate buttons of the key posters on XSO by getting Shapiro to engage in private email comm cycles with them. Comm cycles, guys, in Scientology just means conversations. Also, for you OG experts in the live chat or in the comments for the replay crew, please tell me who Shapiro is. Shapiro is clearly an agent that is working for Scientology and is clearly someone who was openly in touch with people on these forums. Use the love-hate buttons of the key posters on XSO by getting Shapiro to engage in private email comm cycles with them, already started, and position Monaghan with the hatred expressed on Clambake and ARS, and make him become persona non grata in the group because he is bringing in trouble and using the posters on XSO for destructive purposes and not for getting together with old friends. Concurrently, get 2 more XSO to engage with other XSO to repeatedly get Monaghan positioned with the hate buttons, the hate it buttons, as covered above, and put him anti-love until he is no longer an opinion leader or has influence with anyone on the board. 3, get Shapiro to send another email to selected people on XSO about his, oh shit, okay. 4, use the love-hate buttons. Have Shapiro continue to send out messages to the XSO people, challenging Monaghan's behavior and expose that Monaghan is forwarding enemy objectives by exposing his close connection with David Turetsky. That is the professor at Carnegie Mellon University we did a video about yesterday. And Kent. Kent is another professor, I believe, out of a Canadian university who Scientology didn't like. So they keep trying to get this guy associated with the people that his group doesn't want to be associated with. Okay. 5, each time Monaghan posts or puts out a message, get the XSO posters to counter this and attack him. Get him positioned as a dupe of the Clambake and ARS crowd. Find an email for Monaghan's sister and brother in Nevada and get the XSO resource to email them, giving them data about the real reasons he left the church as per his own write-ups. 7, Shapiro to register the domain name truthaboutmonaghan.org. Remember, Monaghan is not the real name. I'm just using that as an alias because I do not like Ben Monaghan. Okay, 8, review all the postings that Ben Monaghan has ever written and select quotes from these postings that can be used against him and post them on truthaboutmonaghan.org. 9, collect statements from people who knew Ben Monaghan stating how he failed on every single post he had when he was on staff and any other relevant information that can be used to discredit Ben Monaghan. The information on the site is designed to 1, discredit, 2, dead agent Ben Monaghan. Dead agent is Scientology vernacular for so completely discrediting someone that nothing they say would ever be believed again. Post the information gathered on truthaboutmonaghan.org website. Get the truthaboutmonaghan.org website registered with Google and optimize the website so that it is the #1 website when searching for Monaghan's name on Google. Compile a DA, that means a dead agent pack. That means a packet of information that discredits the person utterly. Compile a DA pack on Monaghan showing his connections and support of Lerma. That's Arnie Lerma, a neo-Nazi. Of course, Scientology is saying, just negative things about these people. This is not being presented for the truth of the information. Compile a DA on Monaghan showing his connections and support of Lerma, Henson, DST, and post the full dead agent pack on the truthaboutmonaghan.org website. Get the DA on Monaghan sent to media contacts to discredit him as a source and cut these lines. Use the line to Schwartz. I'd like to know who Schwartz is, if anybody knows. Use the line to Schwartz and make her aware of the truthaboutmonaghan.org website and suggest to her to get quotes from the website and post them to ARS and other news groups. 14, get Schwartz to mirror the Monaghan website on her personal site. 15, concurrently, get the West Coast resource to run a series of defeatist messages to Ben Monaghan. That is, that fighting against Scientology is not worthwhile, that there are a lot of other things he is interested in and should pursue, and that Scientology will always be around. Guys, the level of detail in these targets astonishes me. They have people embedded into this person's life who are spying on them. And they're trying to manipulate this guy down to the level of detail of getting his friends to keep saying things to him like, you should, there's really no, there's, you have better things to spend your time on. And Scientology, you'll never really have an effect. And they'll like that level of detail while they're concurrently trying to, pull off a full frontal attack against him to smear him in the most disgusting ways. They're still at the same time doing that deep manipulation on a personal level. Okay. Next, 16, get the West Coast resource to direct Ben Monaghan into creating on other things. Creating in this way, guys, Scientology use putting your efforts and resources and thought into. Creating on other things, such as traveling, doing renovations, and several other things Ben Monaghan likes to get done, and get him to retire from attacking the church. Monaghan is currently living with his sister in Pittsburgh. Have the private investigator get Monaghan signed up to receive kinky materials at the house and get him interested in going out to bars, seeing girls, etc. What? So it's clear to me they are now, because I thought when I first started reading that target, like earlier today, I thought it was going to be send a bunch of kinky stuff to the house to embarrass him, to sort of expose him to his sister or whatever. But it was no, it was to pique this person's interest, to get him a little electrified, a little aroused, a little worked up. And that the PI, that in this sentence, when they say private investigator, they're talking about someone who has been inserted into this person's life as one of his friends. As one of his friends. The PI is not a stranger. The PI is a friend of his, because I repeat, they want the private investigator to get him interested in going out to bars and seeing girls, etc. Mind-blowing to me, you guys. 18, get Monaghan sent URLs to sites which would have the kinds of 2D materials that he is known to be interested in. Remember, guys, 2D means sex. 19, get Monaghan sent materials and URLs for local sex locations that he would be interested in going to. 20, concurrently set up a situation where a potential subscriber to the Pittsburgh Gazette approached by Monaghan for a subscription will feel mishandled, pressured, or upset by Ben Monaghan's attempts or insistence to buy a subscription and will complain to the PPG customer department. Guys, what the actual fuck? They are attacking him from every single possible angle. The internet forums where he posts, his mailbox at home, his family that he's living with, his personal life, trying to manipulate his actual personal behavior and activities. And now they're trying to set him up to be falsely reported for inappropriate behavior at work. This is 2007, not 1977. Okay. I'm going to say this one more time. Set up a situation where a potential subscriber to the Pittsburgh Gazette approached by Monaghan for a subscription will feel mishandled, pressured, or upset by his attempts or insistence to buy a subscription and will complain to the Pittsburgh Gazette customer department. Repeat the same 2 weeks later with another potential subscriber. They are literally figuring out how to, like just imagine what they would have to do in order to accomplish that. They would, and I don't know, was this door-to-door sales? Because that's kind of how it seems. Like, is it door-to-door sales or is it phone sales? I can't quite tell. But no matter what, they have to figure out how to, what's the word? Filter, the opposite of filtering. Season? See, oh my God. What is the word? When you're doing a mailing list and you put yourself in the mailing list to make sure the mailing list went out, is that called seasoning the mailing list? They are having to figure out how to find, if he's doing door-to-door sales, they're having to basically plant a PI at one of the houses he's going to visit and try to sell to. If they're doing phone sales, somehow they're trying to get a phone number on that list of someone who's basically working for Scientology. Like, the fact that this is even a target tells you that they think they can do it. So you have to just imagine the resources they're going to unleash in order to make that happen. 2007, guys. Okay. Concurrently, get the SF. Now, I've been assuming that SF means San Francisco, but if this guy's living in Pittsburgh, then maybe I just don't know. Concurrently, get the SF resource in comm with Monaghan to have him push to get involved with someone on the 2D. Get him to use any opportunity to push Monaghan to go out and start meeting girls at bars, clubs, etc. What in the actual fuck? They have someone that why do they want him? They're literally trying to convince this guy to go out and meet girls. Okay. 21, review all of Monaghan's postings where he mentioned different Sea Org members and ex-Sea Org members for a viable cause of action that could be brought against him, even in small claims court, where the limit is up to $5,000. Now, that's super interesting. They're literally trying to scour everything this guy said about anyone he was ever in the Sea Org with, and then try to arrange to have those Sea Org members sue him for what he said. I don't believe they ever succeeded in doing that. And now we live in a day and age where Scientology could never risk suing any of us former members, because then they open themselves up to absolutely disastrous discovery. They could never open themselves up to that these days. Okay. 22, conditional. Based on the review, work out the best legal action that can be brought and get this CSW'd for okay. CSW is a term that was stolen from the Navy. It just basically means to submit a package for requesting approval. Okay, 23. Once approved, bring the legal action against Monaghan and use it to cause him to want to sue for peace. That is directly out of the fair game policy letter written by L. Ron Hubbard that Scientology claims to have canceled. That language, sue for peace, that is directly out of that policy letter. Concurrently, get Sam. Oh, maybe Sam was the first name of SF. Concurrently, get Sam, local resource, to build up his line with Monaghan so that they are able to do social things together. Have Sam verify if Monaghan is into downloading CP. Guys, I put that CP there because I didn't want the full word. CP is an acronym. The C stands for child. The P stands for cinematography of an adult nature. Okay. This is why I said this is one of the most disgusting and incriminating programs I have ever seen come out of Scientology. Have Sam verify if Monaghan is into downloading CP. This was an area of interest in the past. This will need to be done by getting the trust built up so that Monaghan talks about this or shows him what is on his computer. What? Now, for the record, if the former Sea Org member being referred to in this program had actually had any real history of being involved with CP, Scientology would have already told you about it. When I was in the Sea Org, there was a few instances where some Sea Org members were discovered to have in some way been involved in viewing CP. Those Sea Org members disappeared overnight. Scientology has a zero risk tolerance to that type of legal liability. Now, they never reported any of those people to the police, but they did instantly kick those people out of the Sea Org. So moved them, basically kicked them out of Scientology quietly. My suspicion is that the former Sea Org member being referred to here mentioned something in some of his thousands of hours of auditing sessions about having had thoughts about something, or maybe some past life stuff, because I'm just saying, I'm sort of vouching for this person by saying they never actually had any involvement with this, but it's something that had come up in auditing in some way, shape, or form. Now, we know that because Scientology is, well, let's just keep reading. Okay. And again, their goal here is because also, there's another thing, because also let's look at it the other way. if this former Sea Org member did actually admit while being in the Sea Org to having had any involvement in that type of thing. Scientology never reported him to the police, did they? And they didn't kick him out because of it. This has nothing to do with why this person ended up leaving the Sea Org. Do you see what I mean? So it would be even damning to Scientology if this ex-Sea Org member had some history with CP. Okay. But I do not believe that they did. Okay, have Sam verify if Monaghan is into downloading CP. This will need to be done by getting his trust built up so that Monaghan talks about this or shows him what is on his computer. Conditional. If Monaghan has downloaded anything that appears to be CP, get this reported to law enforcement right away. Conditional. Once this has been reported, get any law enforcement to follow up and take action. Conditional. Expose this and get Ben Monaghan dismissed as an attacker. 29. Review the actions that have been done and work out what further actions need to be done to get Ben Monaghan to cease attacking Scientology. Execute any additional targets to get Monaghan to cease attacking as per the above review. Production target 6 weeks. So that means that they expected this program to be executed and completed and have the former Sea Org member, who is not Ben Monaghan for the record. That's a joke. I used Ben Monaghan's name instead of the real name. Have him completely dismissed, discredited, silenced, muzzled, discredited, and as you can see, possibly incarcerated. And all for what reason? Because this guy was saying some shit about Scientology on the internet that they did not like. He wasn't even publicly attacking Scientology, actually, meaning he was not in the press, only on the internet. Never spoke out in the press. Never has spoken out in the press that I'm aware of. And I'll tell you what, if you think they were worried about what some people were saying on a message board on the internet in the early 2000s, what in the hell do you think they are trying to do about all of the SPTV channels? When you see all of the fucking noise that has been generated over the last many weeks or months trying to distract people who are exposing Scientology's crimes, their abusive policies, practices, and procedures, their crimes against children, their crimes against the elderly. For the love of God, we've just learned about a man whose entire family was told that he's been dead for the last almost 20 years. He's in fact alive, digging ditches at Scientology's international base. And when you look at the most petty, vile, childish, disgusting shit that some newcomers to the scene have been trying to throw out at people to get people more involved in fighting each other than fighting Scientology. Well, I refer you to this program and I ask you, what kind of fucking miserable piece of trash would spend hundreds of hours trying to get former Scientologists who are exposing Scientology's crimes to fight with each other and to fight with them instead of continuing to do what they're doing, which is exposing Scientology's crimes and being Scientology's worst nightmare? I refer you to this program. Nobody would love that more than David Miscavige and his Office of Special Affairs. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unfucking believable. All right, guys, let me address the super chats and then me and my lawyer friend, Zach Morgan, have been trying to do a live stream today, but we got to connect. And so we might still do that later in this evening, but if not, then this will be my last one for the day. Okay, Selena Michelle, love my SPTV. Hit that like button. If you are one of the almost 1,700 people watching live right now, please do me a favor and hit that like button. YouTube has not been sending out notifications. It's been absolutely absurd. We do seem to think that hitting that like button helps with notifications, but nobody really knows. But it's easy, it's free, it's simple, and it helps. So please do me a favor and hit that like button. Thank you, guys. Okay, free Xenu project. From my understanding, you have to pay to get a specific website in the first few to come up first in a search. That isn't cheap. Free Xenu project. I have some documents that I haven't even gotten to yet. Scientology spends about $80,000 a year just to pay for the URLs, all the URLs that it has purchased and registered, not even to mention all the money they're spending on search engine optimization to get websites to come up in the searches. They are spending millions of dollars on search engine optimization to get their hate websites to show up high on the result. Do a test, guys. Just search my name on Google and tell me if Scientology's hate website about me isn't the first result. Sometimes they will just straight up pay to have it be an ad, like they'll pay for ads. So it's the top result because it's an ad. I know their goal is to do such good SEO that it just happens to be the top result. But there's so much content being put out on SPTV these days that more and more Scientology's websites aren't the search results, but go ahead and test it out because it's not cheap. It's not cheap. Okay. Stacy, is this NL fair gaming or extreme? I don't know what NL means, Stacy. If that is this normal fair gaming or extreme? In my opinion, the program that I just read for you is an extreme form of fair gaming, but that's from my perspective. Something tells me that if we were having this chat with some other people who had more experience working in the Office of Special Affairs and stuff, they would say, this is normal. This is walk in the park level fair gaming. You know what I'm saying? Seeding, Dave Bowen, you nailed it. Seeding is the word that I was looking for. What did I say? Did I say spicing? What did I say? Seeding is exactly, yes. So they would have had to try and seed the phone list or seed the address list. Incredible. All right, Michelle Miller. Thank you, Aaron, for all you and SBTV does to bring Scientology to light. Also, want to give a shout out to your wife and family for their support to you. Indeed. Thank you very much, Michelle Miller. I really appreciate it. Free Xenu Project, Rico Case. Indeed. Indeed. April in Amsterdam. Hey, Aaron, my earlier super chat was too late. So this is a bit off topic. Is my TransferWise account owned by Scientology? Maybe a good topic, a video topic would be what other companies put money in their pockets. April, I don't know what TransferWise is. So I'm afraid I cannot really answer this question, but email me at growingupinscientology@gmail.com and I'll see what I can do for you here. Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Evelyn Lee Barney, do you think this BS is behind the SPTV drama? You know, I'm the last person to ever say someone or something is, because of OSA, but you'd have to be an absolute fucking moron not to read the program that I just read and think that it was anything but that. So everyone has to draw their own conclusions because you never really know. Honestly, that's the point. You never really know. This person that this program was written about was a former Sea Org member who was no dummy, and Scientology still managed to get a private investigator embedded so carefully and closely into his life that they were using that PI to control the guy's behavior. That's insane to me. And yet that's exactly what Scientology does. So people wonder, do I think this is the BS behind it? I've been the one saying all along that it's not. It's not. But then I read this program and I am just going to end up keep looking like an absolute moron if I keep saying it's not. Prove to me that it's not. You know what I'm saying? So anyway. SPT Scott. Yes, Aaron, I agree 100%. Just a new OSA tactic ain't going to work. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Michelle Carpenter can confirm current top hit on Google says that you are dishonest and vindictive. Keep it up. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, Aviator Doug. Ooh, I like it. Aviator. Very nice. Gold Base facing an 8,000 acre wildfire. Hopefully those in the hole get out and the place gets turned to ash. Search for Cal Fire and Rabbit Fire for more details. Should call it the SP fire. Wow. I've been seeing mentions in the comments about this raging fire and I haven't looked it up. I don't know. Silver lining here. Nobody really believes that there is still a hole per se. Realize what we hear about as the hole was just that particular incarnation of the hole at that time. Like the hole doesn't have to be one location. It doesn't have to be The whole is an experience, right? People can be subjected to that experience on any base at any time. The reason we've heard so much stories about the whole, the one that you're referring to, the double wide trailers on the international base with the bars, welded. The reason we've heard so much about that version of the whole is because of how many former members, former executives escaped who were a part of that and have told that story. And that probably is one of the most extreme versions of that experience, that I've ever heard anybody discuss in any of their stories. But just because that whole in that incarnation in that place may not exist, doesn't mean people aren't being treated in a similar manner in another location. I just want to be clear about that. Anyway, thank you for the information, and thank you for the super chat. Okay, Free Xenu Project searched and your hate website came up first. Well, there you go. That is money Scientology is spending, and it really is no wonder. It really is no wonder. That is why I wanted to read this program. That's why I wanted to read this program. Scientology has almost nothing better to do with its time and its money but to figure out how to execute programs such as what I've read on this video on every single person who is participating with SPTV. And look, you can ask, well, they've probably been trying for a long time now. And now in the last year, a lot of other people have popped up. They have a lot of other people to try with. And I still ask you, because guys, my intention here is not to use fear tactics or to scare people. It's actually the opposite. This program is what they planned on doing to this guy. It's what they tried to do to this guy. If I have an opportunity and if he's willing to do an interview with him and he doesn't mind, telling everyone who he is, I would like you guys to find out from his mouth whether they actually succeeded. Because guys, Scientology tried to do an awful lot of shit to me, but have they succeeded? Well, how do you define succeed? Have they gotten under my skin? No. I'm all fucked up. I'm wired weird. It doesn't bother me when Scientology does shit to me. I love it. I love being able to expose them. I love being able to be like, they're still trying to do shit. Their goal is to get to someone and get them to go, you know what? This isn't worth it. It's not worth it to keep speaking out. That's their goal. It is not possible for them to achieve that goal, in my opinion, with the people who are contributing to the SPTV movement. And I think that is one of the reasons why Miscavige has no idea what he has bitten off in trying to go after SPTV creators. He just has no idea. Also, I like to say he sort of created a Scientology resistant strain of virus in us former members by going after us so long and so hard for as long as he has. Like the people who contribute to the movement are the people who just aren't afraid. They just don't give a damn. They're like, bring it on. I mean, do whatever you want. If that's your frame of mind, there's just nothing Scientology can do. You can only humiliate someone so much. You can only try to embarrass or expose someone so much. I think everyone has shown over the last many months and the last many more years to come that there's just not a damn thing Scientology can do. And what's interesting about the YouTube SPTV phenomenon is that YouTube is a platform where for the first time ever, former Scientologists anywhere at any time just needs a phone and a computer, and they can not only say everything they want to say. Scientology's worst nightmare is they can actually make money doing it. That is what is totally crazy. That's probably what has Miscavige just like pulling his hair out. You know what I mean? It used to be that if you were speaking out against Scientology, the way Scientology would shut you up is they would go and they would attack your income by getting you fired and discredited and making you unhireable. They can't do that with YouTube. Right? That is why I personally have just been so passionate in trying to get as many people onto YouTube as possible. It's also why I'm trying to help get channels monetized as quickly as possible. When a new channel pops up, you might notice that with a sort of a concerted effort to help someone get over 1,000 subscribers and to get over 4,000 watch hours. That's because that's what it takes to get monetized on YouTube. I want people to have an incentive to keep putting up as much Scientology content as possible. And SPTV and YouTube is that opportunity, and it is that platform. And there's not a goddamn thing David Miscavige can do about it, and it's got to be driving him nuts. And the more nuts that he goes, the crazier the programs they write for all of us SPTV folks are going to get. And the crazier they get, the more careless they're going to get. And the more careless they're going to get, the more content we are going to have to keep exposing these assholes. I'm getting a little fired up, you guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, let's see. Jan Schwartz says, Mike mentioned several times in his book that he was thrown in the hole. Without question. I hope nothing I said sounded like I was denying the existence of the hole. Mike will tell you that he has a high degree of certainty that that location either is not used for that purpose anymore. It would be way too much of a liability. Well, like Miscavige wouldn't still be using that location for that same purpose in present time. I wasn't denying anything about what's been said about the past. Heidi Nauer Freeman, I'm a new subscriber. I'm curious if David Miscavige dies, who is next in line to run Scientology? Love your channel. Thank you, Heidi. Heidi, there is no succession plan in Scientology, but the best answer that I've heard from Mike Rinder and others is that Shelley Miscavige would be the most next obvious person to take over Scientology if David Miscavige died. Shelley Miscavige has worked for L. Ron Hubbard a hell of a lot longer than David Miscavige ever did. She's been in the Sea organization longer than David Miscavige has. She's the closest thing there's ever been to a number 2 in Scientology, under David Miscavige, a real number 2. She knows everything. She knows everyone. She would be a natural choice. All right, guys. That's all I got. That is all I got. I'm trying to figure out how to hide this comment. There we go. This program really got me fired up today. I was like, Jesus. You'd think shit like this shouldn't surprise me anymore. I was reading this thing and I was blown away because I know this guy. I know this guy. It's different when you read about shit that happened decades ago to people that you didn't know. I fucking know this guy. All right, guys. This might be my last video for the evening, but if not, stay tuned. I might do a live stream with my lawyer friend, Zach Morgan. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thanks, everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.